Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope all is well with you and yours. What's good, what's good, what's good? Today was eventful, to say the least. Like, just wow. Did you invest in yourself today? Just saying. Asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend. Today's been eventful. It's definitely been eventful. I think the number one event that we could talk about, or should at least, discuss a little bit, is certain companies getting the nod. Circle, Ripple, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, because you guys never choose Fidelity. Who else was there? Give me a second. I lost my spot. And Paxos. That is not small. That is not small at all. And so when I look at this, I'm sitting back and I'm saying, well, what could be the play for each one of those companies? The play for Circle is going to be similar to the play for Ripple, right? They both have stable coins. Ripple also has, you know, XRP. That's going to be a different world right there. They're also doing settlements in banks. They can exist side by side, but let's just say there's a heck of a lot more overlap between Circle and XRP, or Circle and Ripple, than there is between Circle and between Chainlink and XRP. Chainlink and Ripple. You got to keep up with all these names and monikers and coins and companies and projects. And here's to you. Happy Friday. So yeah, there's a lot going on. There is a heck of a lot going on. I mean, Circle's play to be a bank. All of them are going to have the whole on-ramp, off-ramp thing. All of them are going to boast about their speed and their usefulness. I think that Paxos is a tad bit different. Remember, they don't just create stable coins, but they also do precious metals. So it'd be interesting to see what they're going to do. Again, there will be overlap between all of them, but there will be differences. And Fidelity is just blowing me away. You might be asking, why is Fidelity blowing you away? Think about what Fidelity is. Think about their competitors. And then think about what it means for one of their subsidiaries to be a bank like that, and how big they want to go. That is what's interesting to me. That's what's interesting to me. Because, wow. I mean, I've been saying for a while that I think that banks, hey, a pause in the house. Thank you for letting us know you invested in yourself. I just look at that and I just kind of go, where could they go from here? And they are deep into crypto. They're deep, but they're not an exchange. I don't think they've bought an exchange yet. And I do not know if they have the wherewithal to buy an exchange. They have the depth. They got deep pockets. They can do it. I just don't know if they want to. I would want a Hybrix. I would want a zero hash. I'd want some kind of small exchange. Even if it's just a white label deal, I would want something that's going to enable me to push beyond what seems to be the Wall Street standard, which is 3 coins, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. And let me tell you, there are a couple of banks out there that didn't even want to do Solana. That was like, people know things. So yeah, I'm wondering what that's going to mean for Ripple. For Ripple, that's going to be huge. Now the question is, do any of them have that master account? If Ripple gets whichever one gets a master account, that's going to change. That will absolutely change the game. Absolutely change the game. For the ones that don't get that, they're just a regular bank. They've got to go through another layer. That's going to be crazy. I'll probably be breaking that down all week. I mean, all weekend. Because that's nuts. That's huge. And what's crazy is, I don't think it's hit the market yet. Looking at the numbers, D Mac into his house, looking at the numbers, it has not, that news has not really hit the market yet. I mean, freaking XRP is still at $2.01. That's a 0.21% from where it was. I'm pretty sure they will get the master, the master account. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure. So if they get the master account, what's the play? I'm doing a DTCC chart with how all RWA will work together and flow. How all RWA will work together and flow. What blockchains do you have in there? I'd be interested to know what blockchains you have in there. Because it ain't going to just be one. Max Alex, thank you for letting us know that you invested in yourself. Hutanic, thank you for letting us know you invested in yourself. I mean, what's the play? I want to break down the play for each one of those companies. And then think about how soon are they going to move. You better believe that Brad Garlinghouse has a plan, and it's already been enacted. It's already in play. Already in play. There's no doubt. No doubt. They've been making infrastructure moves, and I think they've been making infrastructure moves. They've been making partnership moves. The same banks, the same hundreds of banks that were looking at them before are looking at them or working with them right now. So that's only like 100, 200, right? That's not Swift's 11,000. So I just put that number out there for people so that people don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are like, oh, Swift's going to go away. I do think Swift's going to go away. I absolutely do think Swift is going to go away. When the more banks that see how fast value can move, how inexpensively value can move, that'll be it. That will be it. And you'll just see a mass move. I mean, they'll keep those systems up. Why not? But you're going to see everybody implement that. You'll see everybody implement that. I think the biggest problem for traditional finance right now, especially the banking industry, is that they're reliant on antiquated technology. Antiquated technology, think of it as COBOL. Big iron, as they call it. That's a massive problem. So one of the things that can happen is if I move settlements from over here to over here, I standardize on data, right? I standardize my data processes. I now make it easier for my systems to get the same data in the same format dependably. Not, oh, we got the data, but there was a problem. No, blockchain is going to give it to you in the same way every single freaking time. It's dependable like that. So it's it's one of those things that I sit back and I just wonder, like I said, for Circle, Paxos, Fidelity Digital Assets, Ripple. I missed one, didn't I? BitGo. That was the other one. Let's highlight that. Circle, Ripple, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, and Paxos. Each one of them is going to have a different business model as they walk into this new age. If I'm an existing bank, I'm going to be sitting there. If I'm an existing bank, I'm going to call Eddie Johnson because he wants to go look at each one of those business plays. And that's what we should be doing because our competition just changed. So when you do that competitive analysis, that whole thing just changed. Did it not? Mind you, Kraken is already a bank. Enrique, what's good? Thank you for letting us know that you invested in yourself. But that's the thing. So I'm just curious at how much, like if I do a Venn diagram, how much overlap is there? And then of course, when I do that Venn diagram, I'm most likely going to, I can see it as several different diagrams. Like DMAC, I can see several different flows if I look at it from a project perspective. So if you're looking at RWA with banking, I'm definitely looking at Chainlink and which one of these guys is connected to Chainlink, right? Where else is Chainlink connected to? Because that's why you touch Chainlink. So at what point do all of them wind up touching Chainlink? How's that for crazy? And one thing, Circle, stablecoin, Ripple, stablecoin. Does BitGo have a stablecoin? Do any of you know off the top of your head if BitGo has a stablecoin? Settlement plus execution and permissioned layers. Yes. Because you're moving data. You're moving data. What is the difference between Base and XRPL to us? Nothing. They bypass us. I don't know what that means, and I'm going to tell you now, I probably disagree between the difference between Base and XRPL. Base is a layer. They just don't have a coin, but Base is just, you can build on us. That's it. It's nothing else. XRPL is a ledger that you can build on, right? But they're making the case that you can build different things, and here's just what our specialty is. I also believe that XRPL has a stronger security mechanism than Base does. Like they both have their pluses, they both have their minuses. So that's what I'd be looking at. What do you touch that I'm interested in? Right? It's sort of like if you're in New York City, which train you getting on? They both do the same thing, but they go to different places. And that would be the difference. So I get what you're saying. Now that I spoke about it, I get what you're saying, but I don't know that it's a matter of bypassing us. I don't know what bypassing us means. Since XRP runs on XRPL. And I'm also wondering if they're making the case to build on XRPL, or if they're making the case on use what's already here. Why would you want a separate thing? You know what I mean? Unless there's, a reason like there's extra security, or, we're going to build out additional functionality, and that's why you would do that. I don't know. But bypassing us? What do you mean by bypassing us? Because I honestly don't know what you mean by that. So I need you to explain, Lucy. Explain. Settlement plus execution and plus permission layers. What are we missing? Settlement, execution, permission layers, institutional. That's institutional level movement. Interoperability, messaging, and routing layers. Institutional. Think about that. I'm going to divide it by what's institutional and what's not. Ethereum, Hedera, POS plus ZK EVM, Chainlink, CCIP, Quant. Yeah, you got to put some spaces, man. Whew, lordy. Axelar Flare Network. Not really into Axelar. Don't know why. Government to government payments. Yep. I don't know if we don't benefit from that. You're not just talking government to government transactions. Well, that's government to government. But institutional to institutional, if I'm a shareholder, do I not benefit? That's why I said institutional, right? Because you're talking about that level of value being moved. Chainlink, CCIP, Quant. I don't know about Quant. Quant has not been making a lot of moves. Quant has not been making a lot of headway. Just saying. It's not to say that they're not capable. I just haven't seen them make moves. And why do I need them? They're competition to other chains that, for right or for wrong, can do more. Right? I mean, Ripple comes at you with, well, we have a stable coin. We can give you your own stable coin. It's real fast. Runs on XRPL, which is mad fast, mad secure. I know you can break down each and explain. I want the cheat sheet version. I want the cheat sheet version. But seriously, I don't see. When I look at the much vaunted ISO 20022 coins that were out there previously, right? It was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. They're compliant with, but they're not certified because there is no certification, right? That's fine. Whatever. That's great. But you have others. What in the what? Bruh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the love, because I know what that means. Thank you. Wow. Oh, other people can like it. I can only love it. Okay. Because I want to do both. Thank you. Thank you very much. That means a lot. So, I mean, just think about it. And then you've got to break down, well, who's using what technology? Right now, if you compare Quant to, let's say, XRPL, right? They don't have that kind of business. They might have been a part of the conversation before, but I don't know. Can we monitor Swift? Yes. That's why I said that number before, because Swift only has 11,000 banks around the world. At best, you have a few hundred talking to Ripple. At best. And I don't think it's a few hundred. I think it's more like 100 or so. Right? It's not to say that the number won't grow. And I don't think it's going to be one group that's going to take it over. Right now, we're already seeing pockets. We're seeing groups pop up, spring up here and there. And then those groups are talking to other groups, right? So I'm not worried about, I'm actually not worried about Swift. I think Swift is going to need to go away. I think Swift will wind up, for some banks, they'll make a move and then they will, DMAC is the GOAT, then they will keep Swift in the background just in case, right? Just in case. But I think what we have to do is kind of move Chainlink from that list that you just gave us. Kind of move Chainlink from that list that you just gave us. I think we move that to the side because Chainlink is playing a different game. Chainlink wants to be the Swift for RWA. So I'm not going to step on your toes. I'm not going to step on your toes. I'm not going to step on your toes. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to enhance your services. Sure, we overlap a little bit. But compared to these other companies, where you practically fully overlap, yeah, that's not Chainlink. Chainlink isn't even in the settlements business. And here's something else for you. I don't think Paxos is going to be playing Ripple's game either. You can build your own, stablecoin on Paxos. You could build your own CBDC with Paxos. I don't think that's the game that they're going for. This is just me thinking out loud, but I really do think that they're going to wind up going precious metals. I think they're going to be going the product direction. That's really what I think. That's honestly what I think. Which, not bad, right? That's not bad. But I really do think that's the direction they're going to go. And I think the reason why I think that is because I don't think they're big enough to hang with the big boys. Quant is in the mix, but I don't think Quant can hang with the big boys. Metals is first. They have an advantage there. They know that business. Now, would it be interesting for Paxos to be in bed with Chainlink? Now, that would be something. Now you know why I want to break down each one of their business models, because guess who we haven't spoken about yet, which is Fidelity. Fidelity Digital Assets. You have to say it like that. And people are probably sitting there getting on me right now, but here's why I tell you to say it like that. When you do business with a bank, you're actually doing business with many, many different businesses. They just happen to all roll up to this umbrella business, but they're all separate businesses. You want to do mutual funds, different business. ETFs, this business, that business, your mama business, mortgage, that business. And then you got that business over there. I'm just saying. So you start to realize Dubs Dollar. Just listen. You'll scroll up a little bit. You'll see what the topic is. Look at tonight's question. No, not tonight's question. Just scroll up a little bit. You'll see what the conversation's about. People got the banks in there and everything. All right, so I'll just tell you. Circle, Ripple, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, and Paxos all got conditional OKs to be banks. What did I tell you about crypto companies having an easier time making the switch over to being a bank than it will be for banks making the switch over to be crypto companies? Isn't that playing out? I've been saying that since I first started. Isn't that playing out right now? Oh, we're going to have crypto going by the middle of this year. It's now 2025 or the end of 2025, and nobody except PNC has anything going on right now. Hutanic, you and me both. PaxG is the joint. But don't forget they also do silver. So think about each one of those businesses. I think the business that gets hurt, I don't think hurt, but I think the business that gets the least is Circle. Because I really don't know that Circle can move without the okay of Coinbase. I mean, they make more money off of Circle than Circle makes money off of Circle. So is Circle becoming a bank sort of like Coinbase? I mean, now wouldn't that be interesting if Coinbase became a bank? Wouldn't that be interesting? Huh. I'm pretty sure Paxos does silver. I'm pretty sure I saw that Paxos does silver. See, you gotta make me do it too. I could have sworn I saw that. No, they do not currently offer public silver-backed cryptocurrency or stablecoin similar to its Paxos Gold product. Paxos does, however, use silver as a commodity within its institutional focused Paxos settlement service. That's why I got it confused. Ta-da! That's crazy. But yeah, I'm just wondering, so like Circle becomes a bank, does Coinbase bother to become a bank, or do they just go the route that they're going? Like they're in bed with PNC. And what is PNC doing? They were looking at buying a few things. PNC is looking to grow up. Aha. PNC Bank is looking to grow up. Even though one of the executives was like bemoaning, purchases and stuff. I'm like, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. I know there's no such thing as a bank that doesn't want to grow. That's why half of these banks are in the trouble that they're in right now. That's why. That is the reason why. Hold on. I feel like I missed something. Hold on. Quant is in the mix. Not in the headlines much, but it's part of the overall infrastructure. I don't know that Quant's a part of the overall infrastructure. I think they want to be a part of the overall infrastructure. If I have XRP, I don't need Quant. And truth be told, I think Quant has a bigger competitor in Hedera than they do in XRP. Ta-da! I think that's the thing for me. It really is. So DMAC, are you going to put that in an article? Are you going to shoot a video for that? What are you doing? Inquiring minds want to know. I mean, we could take it offline and talk about it if you want. Hey. If you want, we could talk about it on Sunday. I'm really interested to see how this past year looked, because Bitcoin is down 3.27% year to date. Ethereum is down 7.24% year to date. Highly possible Bitcoin finishes in the red while S&P outpaces it deep in the green. It's highly possible this year. First time in 11 years. So I'm hoping we get some kind of a rally before Christmas. It's possible. I mean, this is crazy good news. Crazy good news. And it's not like it came late in the day. I don't think it's out there to the world. Asia's sleeping. So does Asia wake up tomorrow morning and go, holy moly, they're going to be... What's in the crystal? A Barbaresco. A very delicious Barbaresco. And yes, it is crystal. My daughter got it for me for my birthday. It's my favorite glass. Favorite glass. Or glasses. But I told her I only get two. One's for me and one's for her. Silver number one, gold number two. Now, here's a question. Do you start paying attention to minerals and precious metals? And how do we weigh AI and that bubble bursting already? Or at least the air is coming out faster than it was last week. How about that? How about that? And what's going on now? Right? Because the bad news is air is being let out of AI, right? And then when you kind of look at that, you're kind of like, oh, that's not too bad. It's not the best, but it's not too bad, right? But the good news is just the banking. There's got to be more good news. There's got to be more good news. And I have a funny feeling I think Mr. Garlinghouse is going to be out there running his mouth. Like for real. But the difference between him running his mouth is he's telling you real information. He's not spewing nonsense. We need a Garlinghouse for Cardano. And people are probably sitting there going, why? Cardano does interoperability too. And that's going to be something else I'll be looking at, because Ripple does interoperability. Who else do they do it with? And remember when I told you guys that there's going to be a great consolidation and culling? It's going to be both of those C's, okay? The culling is going to be because these projects go away. Nobody wants them. They just go away. The consolidation is going to be, hey, you guys should come work for us and we'll just buy you guys out, take your coin and whole nine, move everything over here. You guys should do that. I have been studying the DTCC for years. They process 1.3 quadrillion in transactions. I want to explain in simple terms how and why certain cryptocurrencies will be used. This will be for an investment group I had. Oh, we should definitely talk then. Because what you're talking about is big baggers. I'm not saying big baggers, but big baggers is the first of the private groups that we're going to have on Grow My Bag. That's one of the reasons why we took so long. Is because we wanted to make sure that that mechanism was there. So if Hutanic wanted to have his own group, he could. I mean, he's got to pay for it, but he could. I mean, it's not, and it's the deal that we work is not the kind of deal where you're coming out of your pocket and all that. We got that covered. So if anybody out there that wants to create their own investment group, we can talk to you about how to set up your own group. Because remember, they've got to be members in order to set up their group. Just saying. I mean, to join a group. Just saying. But I'm very interested in, it's not just DTCC. Right? Bruh, neither one of us like Charles. Neither one of us like Charles. Nope. Not at all. Not at all. I've been saying it for like forever. That's probably why we're friends. Forever. He's a loon. He's an absolute loon. Smart, but he's a loon. And that's not the face that you want. You don't have the guy that's in charge of the technology also be your front man, because that's usually not going to work out. It's usually not going to work out. It's not the matter of it not having a CEO anymore. They still need a face. They still need a face. They still need marketing. So even if you don't have a face, you need to have marketing. Without that, they fail. I don't care what anybody says. Without that, they fail. Get into the same rooms as Brad. Bruh, people won't even tell. They'll tell him the room is across town. Meanwhile, it's right upstairs. That's what people will do to him. There's certain rooms he can get into, you're right, and certain rooms that he won't even know exist. He's just not that kind of guy. He's not. There are a lot of reasons for me not to like Mr. Hoskinson. A lot of reasons. But think about it. If you look at Cardano, Cardano does interoperability. Do they do anything else? They do interoperability differently than everybody else. It ain't wrapped. So yeah, it's very different. So the question becomes, well, are you as secure as a Ripple? Are you in competition with a Ripple? I'm telling you, I think the great culling and consolidation happens with, I think it starts within the next 2 years. Because how do you compete? How do you compete? At some point, some of these projects are just too big. You're going to have to merge at least with another, another coin just to remain a part of the conversation. You don't want to be going up like this while Ripple goes like that. There's going to have to be consolidation. There's going to have to be. Don't say there's no comparison. There's always a comparison. It's the end game. It's always going to be about the end game. You want to know. Fully decentralized. Yeah, you're making arguments that nobody cares about anymore. Think about that. Think about the end game. The end game. Is my value going to be moved over there, lickety split? What's your uptime like? You know what I mean? Nothing that you're saying is wrong, by the way. Let me say that. It's just that those are details that nobody cares about. What they care about is what are they doing? How are they doing it? How fast? Are they reliable? Big difference. It's a big, big, big difference. But I will say something though. And it makes me giggle every single time. Every single time. What happens to Solana? Because everything Solana boasts about, you would think that, oh, so you want to be in the banking industry, right? You want to be a service provider to the banks, right? Nah. Because how do you compete? You can't compete against Hedera, against Quant, against XDC. Forget about Ripple. I mean, they're about to be blown away. I honestly think they're going to be blown away. Hutanic, there is no until. A business decision is a different decision over a technology decision. They don't always align. Believe me when I tell you, the business decision is always going to win. It's always going to win. For right or for wrong, it's always going to win. Because that's who cuts the check. The other part is I try to tell people, don't be married to somebody's technology. Don't. Do not. Right? Remember back in the day, everybody was married to Microsoft, right? And now look what's happening. A lot of people are not so married to Microsoft anymore. Pay me every month. How about you bite me? Can't install my operating system unless I have an online account. Bite me again. It's not happening. People are not playing that. People will bounce over to Linux in a heartbeat. If they knew what replacements were there, they'd move. Yo, D-Mac, good night, man. Thank you. And thank you. Be safe. Have fun. So imagine, like I said, for me, I'm just looking at what the business model is for each one of them. Do they bring anything to the table that the business will go, wow? Let me ask you a question, Hutanik. You're not talking to institutions with that. You're absolutely not talking to institutions with that. You're talking to retail with that. Cardano leans more retail than they do institutional. Good point, but it's way more retail than it is institutional. And if I'm going to, if I'm traditional finance, or if I'm any kind of financial company, if I'm going to do DeFi, I'm going to look at the big players in the DeFi space. Aave, right? See where you fit in. There are different places for different blockchains that you can use. But the one that I see that's almost always in use, like you're not going to do jack without it. I come back to Chainlink, man. I come back to Chainlink. What competition do they have? Pith? Not to say that Pith doesn't have good tech. They do. But Pith? Nah. And Chainlink's just going to grow. And I go back to what we were talking about ages ago. Does Chainlink buy Pith? Right? When you look at every facet of transactions that are out there, right? Settlements, RWA, that you pick out which ones are the best. You say this one is the best and this one is the second best. Maybe if you're lucky, you go tertiary. Maybe, but most likely you're only going top two. And you're going to go top two for each one of those. So you pick Chainlink. Who do you pick next? I mean, not for nothing, there's an argument to be made that you would pick Avalanche over Pith. Because it's easier to build on. Right? But you really break down every facet of the multiple transactions that are out there. And that's when you go, oh, okay, now I know what that is. Just saying. And that's when you start to realize, holy moly, we can make money like that. Now you know why I spend so much time doing my own research, knowing my entries and exits, and absolutely investing deliberately. It forces me to take a look, collect all the dots, and it forces me to step back to see how the dots could possibly connect. How they could possibly connect. I know I'm bad. Just got home. Glad to catch a little of the show. Yo, what's up, Michael McCaskill? Investing in yourself today. We're talking about how certain companies have now been given a conditional nod for being their own bank. Circle, Ripple, BitGo, Fidelity Digital Assets, and Paxos. Wow. And that's when you start to go, damn. You want to know what else almost made me fall off my chair? I was talking about this morning. What almost made me fall off my chair this morning is the idea that YouTube is now going to allow creators to get paid in PayPal USD. First of all, how the hell did PayPal cut that deal? And remember who owns YouTube. If YouTube does something, Google is doing something. Wow. Link poses problems for XRP and Quant. No, I completely disagree with that. They don't overlap that much. That's why I said you have to break it down into facets. If you break it down into facets, you start to realize the overlap between Chainlink and those others is very light. Never call me boy. Never ever call me boy. It's very light. Now, if you said XRP and Cardano, okay, there's a big overlap. XRP and something else, Cardano and something else, Hedera and something else, Quant and something else. Big overlap, but none of them have a big overlap with Link. Why? Because Link is not in their business and they're not in Link's business. They all need Link. Link does not need them. Think about that. Link could save Swift? You're joking, right? Swift got into bed with Link because Link has a better idea. In no way does Link need Swift. Swift needs Link. Why do you think Link so much? Link requires nobody else. They've got their data. They just keep growing on the data. You have to go to them, which means you're coming with your data. Everybody's talking to Link. Now, XRP is not in that business. Quant's not in that business. Hedera is not in that business. XDC is not in that business. Circle's not in that business. None of them are in that business. Paxos is not in that business. And then you can also say it the other way around, right? Chainlink is not really a settlements company. That's not what they're doing. It's based on freaking Ethereum. That's not their thing. Although Ethereum got fast. So things could change. But everybody needs Link. Link doesn't need anybody. Let that one hit you for a minute. Think about it. Think about it. So when I think about all of them doing something, I think about all of them picking up the phone and going, hey, Link, my man, or my lady, whichever one. Yo, we got this thing going on over here with this bank. Want to know if you want to get down with that or not. They're definitely not calling each other. They're not calling each other. And even with Avalanche, back to Link. I'm going to pull it back to Link. Link is into being an oracle. Remember the Matrix, the guy that had all the keys? Seriously, I don't know how better to describe it. Link is the one with all the keys. Link is the one with all of the keys. So when I look at this, I'm just looking at it and I'm just going, wow. Tokenization is going to be huge. Like, huger than huge. What do you mean not enough video strength? Like, what the heck are you talking about? I don't have anything running. Their pipes must be dirty. I don't have anything running right now. Nothing. But imagine, I'm Link. Where does everything go right now? I literally have to sit down and think about, what does Circle do? Circle is only, Hutanic, help me out. Circle is only like freaking stablecoins, right? It's only a stablecoin business. Oh, now they're going to introduce a privacy stablecoin. Woo! And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being straight up. When you look at that, the future is huge on L1 blockchains. Hell yeah. But Chainlink is not an L1. It runs on Ethereum. However, your statement is correct. There are L1s and then there are certain L2s. Circle is Coinbase, JP, BlackRock, and friends. Coinbase comes first. How's that for kind of funny? So if you list all the ingredients the way you're supposed to list the ingredients, Coinbase is up here. And then your second investor is down here, and then the rest of them. I keep telling you, the company that makes the most money off of Circle is Coinbase, not Circle. So, I mean, I still wonder. It makes sense for Circle to become a bank. Hands down, definitely makes sense. Stablecoin business, on ramp, off ramp, makes complete sense, right? I can pay my people in stablecoin. They can easily move that to whatever they want. They could even do it automatically, depending on what exchange or what wallet you're using, right? You can automatically change as soon as that stable comes in. You transfer it into something else that you want, whatever. Maybe you flip it to a privacy coin, right? Zcash, Dash, Monero. Just saying. Like, that's what drops my jaw. It's who owns who and who's going to own who. I find that all to be very interesting. So I started to think about that, and I'm just like, man, what are we doing? Seriously, we've got to break down Circle's business. They're one trick pony. I'm not trying to be mean. But if you can tell me what other trick Circle has, as far as I'm concerned, they're a one trick pony. So Circle is a one trick pony. Ripple has many. BitGo, don't know yet. Fidelity Digital Assets. Right now, they don't have a lot of tricks, but they have access to a lot of money. Paxos, kind of a one-trick pony, right? They're kind of you could say maybe 1.5 tricks. Maybe 1.5 tricks. I think they do more than Circle does. Like, they have an established, we'll build your coin for you business. Right? That's honestly how I look at it. But when I look at all of them, that got that banking nod, none of them look as delicious to me. Well, not none of them. Maybe Ripple looks that delicious to me, but Kraken still looks more delicious to me because they have more places to go. I think Kraken has more places to go with the businesses that they own now. Trade stocks, trade crypto. I think they bought a prime brokerage. Kraken is going to be, they're not going to be the biggest one out there. I think that's still going to be Ripple. But I do think that Kraken is going to be a really big player, because they're not just introducing breadth, but they're also introducing depth. They're buying, when they bought businesses, they made sure that those businesses go deep into what they do. And they're just adding to the services that they have. Think about how banks operated. That's the same thing that they did. Small bank, we only do this. If we want to do that, we should buy them. They buy them. Now they can do that. See what I mean? They're the same. I think Circle and Paxos win that. Hold it. Paxos, Circle, and Ripple looking to take over blockchain. That's a silly statement. Sorry. that's kind of a silly statement. They can't take over blockchain. Blockchain isn't just one thing, and no one person is going to be the one. Since you said Google is using Paxos, no, Google is using PayPal USD via YouTube. YouTube is going to allow their creators to choose to get paid in a stable coin. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's not a small thing, and I'm not trying to be funny. What does that mean? It means that they have to either get in bed with somebody that's holding a lot of stable coins, because some of these people, no, PayPal is PayPal. Paxos built it, but PayPal is PayPal. See what I mean? It's Paxos tech, but let's not get it twisted. It's PayPal. Don't mix the two. You'll make a big mistake if you mix the two. So if PayPal comes with, somebody has to have the money. Somebody's making the choice to say, we will get paid in however we get paid. And then we'll go out and we'll buy PayPal USD. And I have to tell you, I've run the numbers on a couple of creators. I'm a microscopic, creator compared to these people, right? We're talking about millions a year. Some of them millions a month. Times tens of thousands. So whichever one decides, I'll get paid in PayPal USD. Somebody's going to go buy it. So what just happened, people? What just happened? I'll describe it to you. Remember when that one transaction for $2 billion happened to USD1 and they don't do anything else? If that $2 billion transaction doesn't happen, they're still sub 1 billion right now. Think about that. But what's going on here is the growth of PayPal USD is going to be driven by whatever creators decide to get paid in stable coins. Choke on that for a minute. Just holy moly. That's another step toward I don't know what PPLE stands for, so I have no idea what that means. Imagine PayPal blows up real fast. PayPal will blow up real fast. And you have to recall that, well, that's kind of a retail move, isn't it? That's kind of a retail move. And if YouTube does anything, well, YouTube is owned by Google. We deal with their code every day. There is no YouTube code. It's Google's code. It's all Google. It's all Google. So somebody made a decision that we will put that in play. We will implement that, which means that when that gets implemented, Google might not do anything right now, but it does make me stop and wonder, does Google make that stand for their Play Store? Do they make the same move for their Play Store? They make that move for other things that they do. YouTube is not a small business for Google. It's a big business for Google. That was a massive, massive move. And the day that it gets implemented, I don't know a single creator that's in the crypto space that's not going to go, yep. Immediately. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Sorry. I don't know what that means. So I'm glad you made yourself laugh, but I don't know what that means. Maybe others do too. Have a good night. But yeah, I'm thinking about what are the plays and the big plays this week for me. Those are two of the biggest plays that I've seen this week. Two of the biggest plays. So there's a lot going on. Big baggers, I will send out the invitation either tonight or tomorrow morning for Sunday's show at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when the big baggers get together for the Big Bagger video conference call. If you're not a big bagger and you want to have deeper conversations, you better become one. Go to growmybag.tv and sign up to be a big bagger. Just saying. There's a lot that happens over there. There's a lot that happens on that call. Even on the website, we have a private feed for continued big bagger conversations. Not ready to be a big bagger yet? Become a bagger. Being a bagger has its benefits as well. Right now, our articles are out there for everybody to see. But when we fully launch, only members will be able to see our articles. Only members. So you might want to think about that. And the prices are right. The prices really are right. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor. Hit the likes. Tell your friends about this community. We're the only one that's like this. And it gets better. And I think that it's going to get better every time we grow. And we've been growing by leaps and bounds really, really fast. And that's because of the community. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a great night. For those of you that are big baggers, I'll see you on Sunday. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.